Finally, at last, all paths converge, and we now have the full picture emerged. Now the time has come to bring everyone together and change the course of everyone's future. But this chapter perhaps contains the riddle most daunting, and it's something to progress needs our solving. There's no need to fret, as mentioned before. After all, this walkthrough video will guide you like before. And unlike previous videos, there really is nothing triggering. I know, how shocking and quite surprising. Still, this intro is something we've all gotten used to, hence with it, we'll plow through. So let's buckle up and this new future create as we head to the first chapter of the third act, Deepest Reaches, The Gate. Alrighty, finally, we are at the last act in Nippon Ichi Software and FuRYu's JRPG, Monark. And this first part of the third act contains my favorite riddle in the entire game. All things considered, though, this chapter consists mostly of solving that riddle, watching a plethora of cutscenes that are filled with quite a revelation, and heading off into a boss battle that isn't at all problematic so long as you went in prepared. So this video will be a short one. What's up, girls and boys? What's up, internet? I am Bianca, and this is the 11th part of our spoiler-free walkthrough and guide, not counting the level up guide, which you can view by clicking the card right here for Monarch. It's been quite a ride, and I honestly had a lot of fun playing this game despite how mind-numbing the character roots and the whole looping thing was. Anyways, let's go ahead with the walkthrough for the initial part of the third act, Deepest Reaches, The Gate. We're following along from where that long cutscene from the previous act ended, which deposited us right back to the TSC club room where Chiyo and Vanitas are waiting for us, along with 2 new notes that has spawned out of nowhere. Before you go collecting those notes, however, speak with Chiyo first to get an idea on what needs to be done in order to progress. After that, pick the 2 new notes, Cromwell Miscellaneous Notes 10 and 11, in order to register them in your library. At this point, you now have all the Cromwell notes. So if you want to get an idea as to what the events that transpired prior to the start of the game was, feel free to read through them. These notes hold interesting information that made it easy for me personally to see where the story was going. They are also pretty good reads despite having so many censored content. Once you're done in the TSC room, head out. Our current objective is to talk to everyone who had been a part of the True Student Council. So go on and find Nozomi, Ryotaro, Shinya, and Kokoro in their usual haunts. Shinya will be at the dean's office, Nozomi is at the student council room, Ryotaro is in the archives, and Kokoro is at the library. Head to these locations to trigger cutscenes for each of these characters and ask them to join the TSC once again. Once that is done, head back to the TSC club room and you will trigger yet another cutscene where the group will ponder on what their next course of action would be now that they had acquired the information they did. They will eventually come to a decision, but the group find themselves at a loss on how to go about it. All they know is that they need to find the gate, which was briefly tackled in Ryotaro's route, and obtain the the signs to open the said gate. Now, when the cutscene ends, speak to everyone in the room, as each of them provides important pieces of information and clues about the sign. This is essentially the riddle that I and our warning was talking about. The clues they give are as follows. The sign is something only the worthy will be able to see. It is similar to the faces you can see on random patterns on the wall, where it seems nothing at first, but if you change your perspective, you may see it. There are around 9 to 10 symbols corresponding to the sign. The signs are the key to the other world, and due to the limitations of Kokoro's powers and how she found no way to get to the gate from the other world itself, then the only way to get to the gate must be related to the usual way we get into the other world. The signs are something we can recognize, and they are numbers. And lastly, the sign could have already appeared right before our eyes, but it is something we may not have realized. Now, these are all interesting clues, and Vanitas, Kokoro, Chiyo, and Ryotaro provides the most useful information, and the solution is really quite simple. Considering we are now worthy as per the information we can glean from the Cromwell notes to find the gate after defeating all the pack bearers and their monarchs, we can find the signs by opening our phones. With the phone open, look at the upper right side of it. You will notice a bunch of symbols right next to the phone signals icon. These are the signs we are looking for, and if you have been paying attention to the entire playthrough, you will notice that the signs started appearing the moment we started winning against the pack bearers. Now, not all playthroughs will have the same symbols or signs. There are, from my experience, around 6 different combinations, so you would have to translate these signs into the phone number you will need to get to the gate, because yes, it is a phone number. So, as Ryotaro hinted, select call from your phone and input the number which the sign looks like. For instance, in this playthrough, it is 0 octatorp 9998 **86. But regardless of what the sign translates to, and once you hit the call button, a cutscene will trigger where the screen will get somewhat distorted. Eventually, you will be whisked away to the other world and will land right in front of the gate, where a very long cutscene awaits that will culminate to a boss battle. Now, if you've been following along and heeding my advice, then you would have used our quick leveling up guide and have gotten all of your units up to level 99, which should make this battle quite easy to deal with. In the Divine Gate battle, you will have to deal with a Poison Flower, a Spike Ball, a Will-O-Wisp, a Seal Corruptor, and a Healing Light, 4 gimmicks, while being locked in a bout with enemies ranging from level 73 to 75. The 3 bosses that you will face, because yes, you will face 3 of them in this fight, will be at levels 76, 77, and 78. Your units will also spawn right next to each other at the very bottom of the map, while the bosses will be at the very top. Now, as we've been doing in the past, your first course of action should be to deal with the fiends first to make the bosses themselves easier to manage. Like previous boss battles as well, all 3 of them will not move and will just wait their turns unless you get close to them. There are some instances where one of the bosses will make use of Hot Swap Voltaic Rage, which increases their attacks when they are attacked, while they remain stationary in the initial space where they spawned. Unlike the vast majority of boss battles, however, none of them can awaken, so you don't have to worry about dealing with special attacks that can one-shot any of your units. All of them have a wide and long range of attack though. The level 76 boss will be able to use authorities such as Absorb HP, Heat Death, which can cause instant death to a character, but the chances of that is actually pretty low from what I've seen. The level 77 boss will be able to use Tactical Evasion, Spatial Collapse, which they like to use a lot, and Recover to heal themselves or their allies. The level 78 boss will be able to use Transfer Pain and arts that include Weapon Breaker. I found that it is easy to defeat the level 76 boss first than the level 77 boss before dealing with the higher leveled one. That way, the stronger boss will not be able to get any support from the other two bosses and will make this already easy battle an even easier one. The only thing I would be wary of is leaving your units back wide open for the level 78 boss to use Hades Strike, which is a pretty strong long-range vertical strike. It managed to shave off 589 HP with a critical hit to one of my units and almost felled it despite being at level 99. But again, you shouldn't have any problems with this fight if you have come prepared. Once the battle is done, another long cutscene will trigger, which will add even more interesting twists to this already boiling pot. The cutscene will end and the chapter along with it, with the group going back to the academy. The next chapter, however, will immediately begin, and it will be something that we will tackle in the next video. So that's it for Act 3 Deepest Depths, the Gate, and the game's hardest riddle. I'm not sure about you guys, but after the bombshell that were dropped in this chapter, I couldn't help but nod to myself and mutter so that's why when it concluded. All things considered though, it was a pretty decent reveal even though it did end up having a couple of plot holes to it. But anyways, that's all the time we have for today. In the next video, we will be doing Act 3 Deepest Depths Vain Empty Ego, which is another pretty straightforward chapter. So, thank you for watching and I'll see you all then. Until that time, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye bye for now. Keep safe everyone.